Hello, everyone. This is Derek Henry, founder of Healing the Body and creator of the Thrive Online Health Program. And today I'm here with my good friend and personal trainer, Frank Tortorici from franktortorici.com. And today we want to talk about maybe a slightly sensitive subject, a place where a lot of people seem to be stuck these days, and they're really kind of baffled as to why they're not able to get the results they want. And this is kind of highlighted the other day by a news piece that was talking about America is getting fatter despite working out more. Now, to the average layperson looking at this, is kind of like, how could this actually happen? Because exercise is one of the first things that people have always known is to live a healthier lifestyle. Exercise has always seemed to be first, and that you just simply need to burn calories. So it doesn't really matter necessarily what you eat. In fact, back in the day when I knew people that worked out, they always thought they could get away with eating certain things because they would just work it off after. That donut, that Coke or whatever, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be able to work it off. Or I burnt 600 calories, so now I can have that pizza. This is the kind of thinking that a lot of people had back in the day. So I want to talk to Frank here because Frank's a personal trainer. He's a workout specialist. He sees a lot of people doing a lot of crazy ass things, and a lot of people, and some people doing the right things. And of course, Frank is teaching people how to do the right thing. So I want to get your perspective, Frank, on this, and maybe give me some ideas in your personal opinion. Why is it that America seems to be getting fatter despite going to the gym more often?
Well, where do we begin? I would say, yeah, people are more active. Obviously, the Fitbit craze, all the tracking your calorie apps, and there's so many tools nowadays, right? But the key thing that most people are missing, and I'm sure this is something that you see as well doing what you do, a lot of people overlook the quality of what they're eating. They think an apple is just an apple today, or a piece of chicken is a piece of chicken, and it's not that simple anymore because of how different our food has become, how much more processed it is. If you're eating animals, how the animals are raised and treated. I think what it all comes down to, most people are afraid to make drastic changes, right? So, doing the workout part is challenging, but it's technically the easiest part for the person, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if they could start making that mental click and meeting me for the appointment or committing to themselves with a friend or workout partner, that part's easy. They can get there. Where the problem comes in, if you're in gyms or any type of social settings and you see people exercising, you see them sucking down energy drinks, Gatorade drinks, post-workout protein drinks, and a lot of the conventional things have what we know as hormone disruptors. And what those are doing, they may have rancid oils in them, they may have genetically engineered sourcing for a lot of these ingredients, color dyes, all types of things. All of those types of things that I mentioned are going to trick out your body's place of balance. It's going to trick out your body's natural ability to produce the hormones that are needed for muscle growth and fat loss. So in one aspect, yeah, we want to celebrate the individual for getting off the couch. They are still reaping some benefits as far as oxygenating their blood, getting the blood flowing, strengthening their heart. Their heart is a muscle, right? Maybe sweating a little bit, detoxifying that way. But that's why you see 90, I'd say maybe 90 to 95% of people that start this, they get very excited for those first 2 to 3 months, and then you just start seeing the excitement go boom, lower, 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 because they just start plateauing, because the initial shock from living a sedentary lifestyle to moving will produce some results. But if you're not making those real critical changes, you end up plateauing. And you do see people that eat like crap and still look good. I don't know if they feel good, but they do get some of the results. But those tend to come from people maybe say 35 and younger. When you get 35 and up and you hit into your 40s and 50s, this is one of my common mottos that I tell everybody: you can't out exercise poor nutrition.
Mm.
It just becomes an impossibility. And most people, when they get to those numbers of life and age, they're more interested. Yeah, they're interested in looking good, but they're more interested about feeling good as well. And when they go for their physical, seeing numbers being within a certain range. Whereas when you're younger, all you care about is having a washboard stomach and looking good on the beach. So it's a very different, two different aspects,
Mm. Yeah.
of what people's mindset could be.
So, do you think out of this study or whatever it happened to be, that the majority of people that are claiming that they're, or the people that they're studying, that are getting fatter despite working out, are you thinking that most of these people are probably 35 and older in that kind of age range?
If I had to put some money on it, I would say probably,
Yeah.
probably. I mean, granted, there are people that could be younger and have those issues as well.
Yeah.
I don't know within this study if they've tested people, like some of the people that are included in the people that are getting the weight gain, are they on any other types medications? As we know, like antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, things like that could make you gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different aspects to it, but the what we do know is that when you do consume foods that have food-like substance ingredients in them, the long term you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. Again,
Yeah.
in the short term, when you go from sedentary to movement, you'll see some things shaking off. But if you don't switch things up within the categories of what's right, you're not gonna this is not gonna become a way of life for the person because you're gonna get discouraged pretty quickly.
Right. So if we did, I would place my bets too on that the majority of people that are having these issues are probably 35 and over. But having said that, like I said, there's always going to be examples, and it seems like people are having more health issues younger and younger these days, and every generation that goes by, it goes back another decade in terms of people that are even getting cancer and all these crazy diseases are getting them a lot younger than we would ever remember, even as
Sure.
kids. It's getting worse and worse. So
Sure.
for this, would you feel that part of this issue that people seem to be having, and you've talked about nutrition, do you believe that part of this may be due to the metabolism kind of slowing down, gearing down, perhaps as a result of rising toxicities and malnourishment?
I do. I think there's something to be said about the hands of time. Like as we age, things do slow down. Um, One of the things that I do, I'm a certified functional diagnostic nutritionist, and that works with like understanding the hormones of the body. And today there's a big craze, and there's a lot of doctors that are just prescribing hormones for people. It's like
Mm.
now you can legally go on a steroid cycle, basically, is what
Right.
kind of what we're living in. Now, my problem with that is that if the person never truly makes these right adjustments within their lifestyle of food and things that they're drinking and supplements, and now they're taking hormones on top of it, personally, from everything that I've studied, your body's now becoming even more of a breeding ground for disease and maybe, God forbid, cancers and things like that. Playing with hormones is a very tricky thing. I mean,
Mm.
if you go a little bit over the threshold, your body's now in the red zone to where, liver, kidneys, like things are under stress.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, if you've never made those changes, I mean, I've worked with clients over the years that are taking hormones from a doctor. They look great, but if you go out to dinner with them, you'd be mortified as to what they eat.
Mm.
So, in the long term, if we look at the panels of livers, kidneys, thyroid, all that kind of stuff, gallbladder, you're wreaking havoc on yourself. So I guess it all comes down to what the person's motive is in this. Do they just want short term, or do they want long term?
Mm-hmm.
And everything and anything that I'm passionate about and what I teach people is more about longevity and long term. So again, as we age, the hormone production does decrease, but we all have the God-given ability through this machine that our soul is housing itself in,
Mm-hmm.
to allow this machine to do what it needs to do by giving it what it needs to do, what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So, if you do that, aging could become more of a graceful thing rather than, something that just boom, you just crash kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I'm going to be real here, which usually am, the truth comes whether you like it or not. But the old mantra, and I think it's probably not even an old mantra, you're probably still seeing it today. I think it's kind of outdated, but I feel like I'm usually ahead of the curve and a little bit on the leading edge because I'm always studying these things ahead of time. And with my own health journey, I learned a lot of things ahead of time that science still hasn't caught up to. But there's a common conception that a calorie is a calorie, and working out and losing weight is as simple as burn more calories than you take in. So I want your perspective on a calorie is a calorie, and that it's as simple as just burning more calories than you're taking in.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of truth to that. I think a person, even if they eat crap, if they're taking in a certain number of calories and burning a certain number of calories that meets that equivalent,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to lose. They'll end up losing weight.
Mm.
The whole calories in, calories out. I've seen that. But again, when we're talking about anti-aging, hormone health, reducing the risk of cancers, diabetes, heart disease, liver, kidney damage, whether you're doing the calories in, calories out, if you're eating poor quality of things, you're negating all of everything that I just mentioned of kind of nurturing all of those organs.
Mm-hmm.
So there is truth to that. And I just think too, I think I've learned this with myself recently. I'm on about, like, I'd say almost going on 3.5 to 4 months of doing every day of intermittent fasting myself.
Mm-hmm.
And playing with the windows of 16-hour fasting, 17-hour fasting, sometimes 19-hour fasting, and then, playing with the window of which I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're just overeating way too much too.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're eating healthy food or junk food, I think as a society we're overeating way more than what we truly need. There's only a certain amount of grams of protein that your body can absorb within a window of time that you're eating it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with any other vitamins and minerals. So I think we're just kind of overdoing things as well. And in the fitness industry, it's really overdone in the sense because when people think fitness, they just kind of think bodybuilders.
Mm-hmm.
Or and if they know athletes and all that as well, there is that mindset of eating every 2 hours, replenishing the muscles, restoring the glycogen within the muscle. And again, there's different philosophies and approaches for different types of motives, right? A professional athlete is definitely going to require a much different caloric intake than somebody like me who works out for health and wellness and longevity now. So
Yeah.
there's definitely different avenues to go down in
So,
that aspect.
so I don't know if you ever had this situation happen, but a lot of people complain about this, and having been a sufferer of this, I could see where they're coming from. But let's assume that someone is working out with you, as an example, and is burning more calories than they're taking in each day. So assuming that they're having a deficit, but they're still not losing weight. And maybe that's part of these people's problem. I mean, there's lots of nutritional problems, so that's a big study in terms of why are people getting fatter despite working out more. There could be a lot of different things. But do you think there's some diseases, there's some chronic issues, maybe some hormonal issues? If someone has some underlying stuff that hasn't been really addressed, that's kind of burdensome, that they could do the calorie deficit but still not lose weight until they fix some of those things?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't know. I mean, unless, again, you're working with somebody closely and you get their true history or the truth of how they're living. Again, as I've said, that you don't know if a person's taking antidepressants, I mean, look, you can eat as healthy as you want, and if your sleep patterns are off or you're chronically under stress of anxiety and insomnia and living in, having fearful thoughts constantly, that's right there is triggering cortisol releases in your body. And when you have cortisol releases in your body, all of your other major hormones start diminishing and depleting. And that's a whole nother science that, would be too long for this. But yeah, I mean, there's internal and there's external stressors, and, they're both are a factor. So you can have the internal, say, of your thoughts and all that, say, all erratic and crazy, but then the external would be like what's going, from the outer to the in of what you're eating, be optimal and still hit a plateau in a sense. So it's all about the mind, body, and soul in that sense of when you're talking, weight loss into longevity, especially for people that are, hitting that, mid 30s to early 40s and so on. The whole sense of being in a place of peace and zen,
Mm-hmm.
I think really plays a factor just as much as the exercise and the food intake.
Yeah, I agree. It is more than nutrition. Nutrition is a good way to go at it, and it's a good base, fundamental way to for anything really to live your lifestyle. But there's so many other lifestyle factors that people either don't know about or just tend to ignore. Um,
Yep.
but I think people want to hear from the expert in terms of what he's doing in this whole realm, and kind of how some basic things that maybe you conduct around your workouts so they can learn from the master. So I'm gonna fire off a few questions on you, and I want you to kind of give some quick responses to help people understand maybe what they can do on their end to help with their workouts, and so they can kind of follow the types of results that you have generated for yourself and for other people. So here we go.
All right.
What's your favorite post-workout anti-inflammatory?
Post-workout anti-inflammatory.
What do you do to keep that post-workout, the delayed onset, the muscle soreness? How do you keep that down? And it doesn't have to be, it could be food, supplement, whatever. Is there anything that you do to kind of keep that down on a regular basis?
Sure do. Green juice, baby.
Green juice. How did I know you were going to say that? Hey, that's perfect. Perfect anti-inflammatory. I like that one.
Yep. Not only is it anti-inflammatory, you're getting all proper amino acids in there too, which will feed your muscles as well, people. So
#boom. All right. So the next thing, what's your favorite plant-based protein after a workout?
pumpkin seeds, raw pumpkin seeds.
Raw pumpkin seeds, nice. What about animal-based? You got anything?
I love grass-fed beef.
Grass-fed beef, okay. What's your favorite way, if you even need it, to boost energy prior to a workout, or what advice would you give to people?
Cordyceps mushrooms or deer antler?
Man, you are a man after my own heart. Both two things that I love. I don't take a lot because I don't drink caffeine. I don't do any of that kind of stuff, so I don't get that artificial energy. But cordyceps I love, and I love elk antler and even pine pollen. I'm kind of along the same. Yeah. So that leads into the next question. What do you think of coffee, or caffeine-based? Yeah. So what do you think of coffee or caffeine-based pre-workout supplements or energy supplements?
I'm not a fan. Okay. I'm not a fan, and the reason being is caffeine. It tricks out the adrenal glands. Mm-hmm. It stimulates them. It overstimulates them, and in return, it can really deplete and diminish your testosterone, DHEA, HGH levels, melatonin, all those kind of things as well. So I'm not a fan of caffeine. It doesn't nourish the adrenals. I'm more of a fan of the adaptogenic herbs for energy to work with the adrenals.
Love it. Great answer. Perfect. All right. Well, thanks again. What's that? You passed. 4 stars. 4 stars. So thanks again, Frank. This has been another great conversation. Hopefully people can learn from this and understand, why they may or may not be getting exactly what they want from the workout results. And of course, if any of you are interested in getting the most out of nutrition and your workout results, you can tune into Frank at franktortorici.com. And if you want to learn a little bit more about nutrition as well and help with them, boosting your metabolism that way too, you can also check out healingthebody.ca. But thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Frank and I just want to remind you that we're not just on this planet to survive. We came here to thrive, and that's what we're intended to do. So hopefully some of the information that we're bringing you is enabling you to do just that. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone, and you're going to see more from us.